Hey guys, today I want to show you something pretty cool I just installed on the JK. This is the Cascadia 4x4 VSS hood mounted solar panel system. This is a 100 watt solar panel that's made specifically to fit the hood of the Jeep JK. There are a couple different variations of this product. You can get one for your JK, JL, JT. They sell them for the 4Runner, the Pre-Runner, F-150. I saw you can even get one for your G-Wagon and several other applications. There are a couple different options when you're ordering your panel from Cascadia 4x4. You can get just the panel by itself. You can get the panel with the vinyl underlay, which is what I opted for. And then they also have the option to buy it with a waterproof MPPT charge controller, which you can then mount in your engine bay. Personally, I opted for a Victron SmartSolar MPPT charge controller with built-in Bluetooth, which will allow me to see exactly how much solar I'm taking in real time via an app on my cell phone. All right, you'll also notice that I integrated in the quick connect that I use for my ACOPower Suitcase Solar Panel. So that way I have a couple different ways to take in solar, or I can just take in more at once. All right, if you guys have any questions about anything you see in this video, make sure you leave them in the comments section down below. If you guys are interested in picking up anything you see in this video or any of the products that I used, I will leave links in the video description down below. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. And if you do choose to subscribe, make sure that you help me out with YouTube's algorithm and you hit that notification bell. All right, guys, let's get it done. So real quick, let's take a look at what our kit comes with and what we're going to be using to make all of this work. First off, you can see we have our Victron Energy Smart MPPT charge controller. This is the 100 volt 15 amp version. Also, we have some self-tapping screws to make all that work. All right. Next, we have some simple terminal connectors. These are heat shrink type. I really like those. And then we have some red and black 10 gauge wire. All right, our kit also comes with an assortment of zip ties, a squeegee for when we use our lube to help position the large sticker, and then some adhesion promoters. And then of course also a simple pair of wire connector tools. And then we have our panel itself. You can see it's pretty nicely made. It's form fitted for the Jeep. It has these MC4 connectors with this length of cable that comes out the back. And then on the back of it, you can see there are these little foam strips in the middle. Also, there's some little bits of foam around where your windshield washer sprayers go. And then we have our 3M VHB around the perimeter. And I've used this in the past with a lot of stuff, and it's, you know, really, really good stuff. I think it's going to hold up really well. All right. And for underneath this, you can see we have our large, kind of like a decal, but it's to protect the paint underneath where this solar panel is going to go. And so I think we'll start by getting this installed. Anytime you're installing any type of adhesive back product, like a large vinyl piece like this, like I always say, I think that prep is the most important thing that you can do. So the first thing we're going to do that I'm not going to show you guys is I'm going to clay bar my hood, and then I'm going to use this little bottle of Rapid Prep to make sure that my hood is completely clean and free of waxes or anything else that could, you know, kind of stop this from getting a good bond. All right, to apply our vinyl sticker and to get the panel on, we're gonna have to remove both of these bumps, which are for laying the hood back, or if you ever put your windshield down, and then this footman loop, which is to secure the windshield if you ever do lay it down. Let's get that done real quick. Okay, to remove these little bumps, it's pretty easy. You can either just use your fingers or maybe a pair of needle nose pliers and simply push them out. There we go. So your passenger side might be a little bit trickier, and that's when I would definitely recommend getting some needle nose pliers and then pull it out. For the footman loop in the middle, you're going to want to get a 9mm socket and just simply unloosen these bolts. So there will probably be a lot of grime and dirt underneath where those pieces were, so you're gonna wanna really make sure you get it nice and clean, so that way we can get a really good bond. All right guys, so as you can see, our hood is nice and clean. I went ahead and clay barred it off camera. I didn't want to bore you with that, and I also used this product called RapidTac, which helps strip all of the wax, oil, and silicone that could possibly be on the hood, just so we get that nice, perfect surface to bond with. All right, so what I'm going to be using as a lubricant is this stuff made by Chemical Guys. It's called their Clay Lubber. I'm thinking it should work just fine for this purpose also, because it's a synthetic lubricant and wetting agent, so it'll help break that surface tension. So I'm just gonna, real quick, spray down the hood really well, get it nice and wet. And then as we peel our vinyl sticker off, we're gonna slowly peel around the edges and make sure we spray on the back of our large vinyl piece as well, just keep it from adhering to itself. So in the instructions, Cascadia 4x4 does recommend having another person help you, and you might be able to pull this off by yourself, but you only get one shot, so I definitely recommend using a helper. Now do me a favor, hold that. And then it's gonna peel and spray as we go. So it doesn't adhere to itself. You only get one shot at this. This wind is not our friend. Don't get it stuck to itself. Maybe step on the paper and then, all right, grab by the very, very edges, like these two edges. Then let's turn it over real quick. Okay, now try to peel it from itself. Oh man. It's supposed to be able to just slide around freely. All right, so this is a bit of a delicate operation. Like I was saying, make sure you don't do this on a windy day, number one, and then use your windshield washer fluid ports as your alignment tool. Let's straighten it out. So I'm trying to get these large bubbles out. All right. Well, that was tense. Now we're just gonna go ahead and start squeezing out from the middle. Just get all the air bubbles out, get all the fluid out. Slowly work everything out towards the edges. Probably one of the most stressful things I've ever done. The wind was definitely not helping, but that's fine. Adversity builds character. All right, so I'm just gonna finish squeegeeing all this water out, make sure we have all of our bubbles out, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, now that our vinyl's on, they say you should let it sit out in the sun for at least 30 minutes. So with the angle that I'm at, I think the best way to do that is gonna be to simply pop the hood. All right, now what I'm doing is I'm test fitting our panel now that we gave our vinyl some time in the sun to get nicely bonded. And you can see Cascadia gives you these 3M adhesion promoter pads. So what we're going to do with these next is open them up and go around just under the perimeter of where that 3M VHB material is and apply some of this, and then we're going to very carefully remove the cover off of our VHB material and then try to get this thing bonded. See, it's a little yellow sponge basically, and they do recommend that you wear gloves. Anything gonna come out? Yeah, it's kind of strong. Let's go around the edges. Just think you want it right where that VHB material is gonna be at. So pretty much just try to get it all underneath that 1-inch strip. Ooh, yeah, this stuff smells strong.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's good. I don't know if this would make your fingers stick together, but just do one more pass real quick. So this 3M strip is all one piece. So let's just, there you go, there's your end and my end. So let's start peeling and then let it down a little bit. And then we'll start pressing down firmly. Just kind of press as you go maybe. An easy install. Whew. And this is where you realize you did something wrong or it's off by like a ½ inch. All right, but everything looks pretty good. It looks pretty straight. It's pretty nice. Like I said, I put a lot of time into prepping this surface, so hopefully that'll pay off in getting a good seal. Let's spend a few more minutes pressing down on this and then give it some time in the sun to bond, and we'll work on our wiring. Okay, now that our panel's all bonded up, you can see we just need to simply work our MC4 connectors down underneath the hood and then pull the wire through to the other side. All right, let's get that wire through. All right, now that we've pulled our wire all the rest of the way through, you can see there are these little adhesive zip tie connectors, things that they include with the solar panel kit. And what I'm going to do is put these all along the top of the hood here, and then use some zip ties with these to hold our wire in place just along the hood, and then we'll get it all connected. Okay, so you kind of get an idea of what I did here, and I just cut the ends off with a pair of snips. Okay, and then I can run this wherever. All right guys, so here is where things are going to deviate a little bit from the instructions. If you've seen some of my past videos, you might remember seeing me install a quick connect for my suitcase solar panel made by ACOPower, and then I ran a wire up the driver's side through the firewall to a PWM charge controller, which we mounted underneath the steering column. Well, I basically scrapped all of that, and what we're going to do is cut these MC4 connectors off of our solar panel that we got from Cascadia 4x4, and we're going to tie all these wires together, and then we're going to run them through the firewall to our new Victron charge controller. That way I'll always have the hood mounted solar panel charging, and then if I'm ever parked in a shaded area, I still have the option to draw power in this way, and I don't have to do any other setup or have a second charge controller. So this next part might not be for the faint of heart, because we are going to be cutting these guys off. If I ever change my mind later, it's real easy to put new ones on, so it's really not a big deal. Then we're going to get this all wired up. So yeah, let's get it done. All right, so I want to give myself a little bit extra room to work with, so I'm going to cut these guys right about there. And then, ooh, here we go. Oh man, I almost feel bad doing this, but bam! Oof, look at that. Ugly. Oh well. Then let's take a razor blade, get this sheath off. I know someone out there is like, oh man, it's an expensive solar panel, why'd you just do that, blah, blah, blah. Because it's my money, my Jeep, my YouTube channel. I do what I want. There we go, beautiful. All right, it's nerve-wracking. Let's get these guys all stripped up. I just want to mention that if you're doing this, the panel is generating power right now from the sun, so you want to keep these terminals separated, or preferably cover the panel up. You can see I've got our red together, which are our positives, and then our black, which are our negatives. I'm just going to take this guy, get that right over top, crimp that bad boy down. Usually I don't like to bore you guys with wiring, but this time I feel it's kind of, dare I say, on the crucial side as to what exactly I'm doing, so you see what I'm doing. And then clamp that guy down. All right. Now let's run our 10 gauge wire from the other side. All right, so our hole in the firewall, you can see I've pretty much just taken my factory antenna, and I'm gonna pull our 10 gauge wire through one by one, just because they're a little bit on the larger side, so yeah. Perfect. And I probably won't show you on video, but I'm pretty much going to do the exact same when I run our wires from the charge controller back to the battery. Now negative to negative. Get that all up in there. All right. Crimp that guy. Bam. And then positive to positive. All right. And we'll just shrink these up a little bit. All right, so basically, I don't know how well you can see, guys, but I've run my two 10 gauge wires through the firewall. They're going back down this way, and then they're coming out just behind the dash plastic. Okay, so I pulled back the carpet. You can pretty much see what I'm thinking about doing here. First thing I did was I made sure there was nothing crucial behind here that I was gonna screw a self-tapping screw into. Basically, this is what I'm thinking. And then I'm gonna get the wires into the bottom of this before I do this, and I'm just gonna put maybe 3 of the 4. I'll try to get all 4 screws in, but I'll see how that goes. So I'm not gonna show you guys all that because this is a really tight space, but I'll just show you the finished product and let you know how it goes. All right, guys, so I got it all worked out. Basically, what I ended up doing was I pretty much lined up the holes, used a punch, and then drilled some small pilot holes and then ran the self-tapping screws in that way. It was just easier. I didn't bother to get this top right corner. I might come back and do it later. I think those 3 will hold it pretty well, and then pretty much what I'm going to do is just cover it back up with the carpet, and you know, you won't even really notice that it's there. All right, let's get that wire run back to the battery, and then we'll wrap things up. All right, other than some wires, you don't even notice that it's there. There's a little bulge, but I'm not worried about anybody kicking it or touching it. I'm 6 foot tall, and with my legs fully extended, I barely even reach to it. So yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. Okay, now to just get our negatives and our positive hooked up and we'll be done. I do have the Genesis dual battery system, so I'm just gonna hook it straight up to this top post, just like I did with the other setup. I always forget if you're supposed to connect the positive or the negative first. I don't know. Electrical was never my strong suit. All right. And this could be a little bit cleaner, everything up here, but we'll leave that for another day. Okay. Not too shabby. All right, guys, well, as always, I'm pretty pleased with how things turned out. You can see we have our suitcase solar panel out here, and then of course we have the Cascadia 4x4 panel, and I think it looks really good. I'm super pleased with how easy the install was. If I had used the Cascadia MPPT charge controller, I think this install would have easily taken me less than an hour. Wiring things up the way I did, it probably took maybe an hour and a half. I'm really pleased with how well the Victron Smart Charge Controller works. You can see the app is telling me right now that with the sun and the angle that it's at and a little bit of cloud coverage, we're getting just about 40 watts. Oh, no, 34 watts. Oh, I'm blocking it a little bit. There we go. I will say it's definitely sensitive to being blocked by objects. There we go, about 40 watts. And if we plug in our ACOPower panel, you can see we quickly jump up to 99 watts currently. I was playing with it a little bit and I saw it get up to 115, 120. So just to be clear, this is a 100 watt solar panel and this is a 105 watt solar panel, but you're never going to get exactly that out of panels. You know, they do lose some you know, efficiency in the process, and you know, I think at max they can, you know, absorb like 80% or something. I think also the angle that this panel's at, like if I had the forethought to park with my back to the sun and then pop the hood, I could probably get a little bit more out of it. But as things sit right now between both panels, we're getting about 89 watts, yeah. So overall, I'm pretty pleased. You can see that it shows the voltage, the current, it shows what our battery is at, and then it shows the load output. Yeah, pretty cool. It shows you how much you're taking in. I have noticed that if I'm driving and my alternator is charging up the batteries to their max, then this will change to float and my wattage intake will actually drop down to 0, which I think is just because the battery's full, so it doesn't want to overcharge it. So yeah, overall pretty good. All right, guys, well, I hope you found this video useful. I hope you liked what I showed you here. Like I always say, you know, if you're interested in picking up anything you saw in this video, I will leave product descriptions and links in the description down below. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave those in the comments section. I'd love to know what you guys think about this setup. I'd love to know if you guys have any feedback about how I can improve this, or just, you know, what you think, you know, like or hate it, either way. All right, as always, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, make sure you hit the subscribe button to help me out with YouTube's algorithm. And of course, don't forget to hit the notification bell. All right, you guys take it easy.